So, Emily, can you talk us through some of the strengths and weaknesses of this C-17?
Sure. Strengths. We have incredible brakes. We can put that, I mean, our max takeoff and our max landing weight are the same, which is
Mm,
very rare for an aircraft that size. So I could take off at 585, I can land at 585. Um, so that's definitely a strength. We have great brakes. We have big old barn doors out there that help, bring the weight down on the aircraft. Weaknesses, I think. Our jets are pretty beat up from years and years over in the desert, and so I think the life cycle of every jet, you start when they come off the assembly line, they're brand new and shiny, and trends start to develop, right? So trends and like this is breaking on
yeah.
several jets. We can start to anticipate that that's going to happen to the rest of the fleet, and so we've been having some maintenance issues, and it's just cyclical. Every jet goes through it, but I think it's just very telling of what it's been going through for the last 20 years. It's a very technologically enhanced airplane, and so
Mm.
there's a lot of technology that goes into there. And so when I watch my maintainers like troubleshoot, it's very interesting actually,
Okay.
because there's they like enter their secret maintenance code, right? And then all of our screens turn into something different. And
Yeah.
like, when you're flying, you have no idea that that technology is in there. You're like,
Yeah.
I didn't know my WAP could do that. Like, and they're using it as like a menu. And
Yeah.
um, so it's actually really, I like watching them work because I like to see like you learn stuff every time you
Absolutely.
watch them work. Um, but employment weaknesses, I'm trying to think.
Is it maybe the runway that you can't get into everywhere? Maybe is that like a weakness? Would you say?
Maybe the width of the runways, because our max width, our minimum width is 90 feet. The minimum length we need to land is 3,500 feet, and so
Mm.
um, we can pretty much get in there. Uh, if we're carrying a bunch of stuff, like obviously told is limited, so maybe like 6 to 7,000 feet is the minimum. But I'm trying to think. I mean, it's such a capable aircraft.
I
Like
was going to say, if you can't even think of a weakness, it must be
I
great.
can't. It's, what? We're not super fast. That's a weakness. Crossing the oceans, like everybody passes us like over the top, and it's
Just
very
waving.
demoralizing. I'm like, oh, just get there. Yeah, I guess that's it. I mean, we cruised at 0.74 across the ocean, which is not fast. It's quite slow, actually. So a lot of times they're like, can you pick it up a little bit? And I have
Yeah.
to make sure we have gas. I'm like, yeah, we can go 7.6, but um,
What does an
yeah,
airliner do? Is it about the same or is it a bit faster? Point 0.8 maybe?
I think it's point 0.8. Yeah.
Yeah. It's still not. It's still moving though. 0.76, 0.74. So yeah.
I had like a 630 knot ground speed the other day because we had
Oh
like a
really?
150 knot tailwind. It
Brilliant.
was fabulous. It was the fastest I've ever crossed an ocean.
That's great. But
Yeah.
as all viewers have seen, maybe on our Instagram and other, I posted that brilliant photo of you in the dark with all the cockpit lit up. I want to talk about the cockpit. What's it like to work in? Because it just looks amazing. It looks almost like Star Trek or something.
Yeah, it's really great. And to be honest, because I have no flight experience outside of the Air Force.
Yep.
I'm kind of spoiled and don't realize how good I have it because I'll walk into um I was in a KC-135 one time and I was like, what is this? Like, how do you fly up here? I don't understand. So I'm just so spoiled.
Yeah.
I'm a HUD baby too. It's incredible. It's incredible. Flying a big aircraft like that with a stick, for one thing, is very rare, and it's just I don't know, it's a better experience, I would say. Like in the T1, I didn't love the yoke. I was like, this is so awkward. Why do they design planes like this? And then I got to the C-17. I was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is great. Like one hand for the stick, one hand for the throttles. It's
Logical.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, it's a very spacious cockpit. So we have obviously pilot, co-pilot. We have a rack 'em, lack 'em. So right additional crew member, left additional crew member. So we have 4 seats up front, and then in the crew rest area, we have 2 additional seats and then 2 bunks. And so
Wow.
there's lots of room upstairs, which is nice. Lots of headroom too. Um, and then the screen, like the technology in the aircraft is great. And the HUD, we're getting a new HUD actually, and I'm interested to see how different it is. But because our HUD is very rudimentary in terms of HUDs, I guess. But
Mhm.
it's such a great tool. I love it. It's one day when I transition out of the C-17, it's going to be very difficult for me to remember how to land without a HUD.